Okay, hello everyone, and we want to welcome out today to this panel and hope obviously in these times that you and yours are safe and well. And so we've got a great group of panelists with us today to talk about smart manufacturing and how that can really drive business value and really the case, what that means for Industry 4.0. So I'm going to be your moderator today. I'm Alex West. I lead the industrial IoT research at Omdia, which is a leading technology market intelligence firm. But I'd like to pass on to our panelists for them to briefly give name, position, and a little bit about their experience and background in Industry 4.0. Maybe if we could start with Marilyn, and we'll follow with Fareed and Steve.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Marilyn. I'm located in Vancouver, Washington right now. I work for Daimler Trucks North America, which is the branch of the overall Daimler AG group. Our business is building trucks and powertrain for big semis and also medium duty trucks. I've been working for Daimler about 5 years, but my overall experience is in industrial engineering. I have a PhD in industrial engineering. And also my background is very heavily focused in manufacturing and assembly for several years. And so process design, process improvement, that's my bread and butter. And that allowed me to work with partners in IT, controls, ME, and look at how we could enhance processes by better process control, quality control, looking at Industry 4.0 tools, and implementing information systems that would allow us to function in a smart manufacturing environment. So in the last few years, that's been my main focus, and now actually been working the last year as an Industry 4.0 leader. And so we are actually in the midst of engaging in a huge project in implementing manufacturing execution system with the help of IoT to help us get all of the truck plants on board with this new technology, to try to bring the plant to an Industry 4.0 standard. We're probably in about a 3.0, 3.5. So this is the next big step. So I'm in the midst of all that right now.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. And good morning, good afternoon for people around the world from here. My name is Fareed Bichare, and I come with the background of the engineering, control, and robotic engineering. At this moment, I'm also chairing Smart Factory Task Group at IIC, Industrial Internet Consortium, and then soon from September, I will be part of the steering committee as well. I have 20 years plus experience in manufacturing area. I consider myself an entrepreneur with more than 7 companies established. Recently, my focus, especially this year, was on the COVID-19 impact on different industries and IoT specifically, and the solutions for manufacturing. And I will be happy to be here and contribute to this discussion as well.
Perfect. Good day, everybody. My name is Steve Holdsworth, and I am the Vice President of Strategic Initiatives at Crescent Electric. Crescent Electric supplies actually one of the largest wholesale electrical suppliers in North America. So unlike my esteemed colleagues here who are on the manufacturing side, I'm actually on the supply chain side. And one of my responsibilities is to bring products, technologies, and services to our customers. And it ranges from everything from, I call it farms to factories. So, automated milking parlors to, high-speed bottling lines at breweries and everything in between. And what I've seen is really the convergence of these different technologies, from building management systems, integrating with SCADA through access control and security, and bringing all the technology together. So really excited to be here and participating in this panel today with everybody.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Marilyn and Fareed. But clearly, the manufacturing sector is facing quite a unique set of headwinds and tailwinds at the moment. That's really going to cause a shake-up in industry, in a number of industry sectors. And whilst there are a lot of challenges, there's also the potential that's being offered by things like digital transformation, bringing these technologies to really help companies position themselves for the future. However, at Omdia, we found that can sometimes not always be as easy as sort of first idealed. We found that over half of industry hasn't yet begun these projects. But even where companies do start these projects and even move to deployment, we're seeing about a 40% of these companies not getting the expected payback. So maybe starting with you, Marilyn, you've got, sounds like a very interesting project going on at the moment. Could you share a little bit of your experience, expertise around what you're seeing now at the outset around introducing these projects? What's a good way of getting started? Is it, let's throw sensors out there, see what data comes in, or what sort of approach should end users look to adopt?
Yeah, that's a really good intro. The term process to me is like, if you don't know your process, don't go after technology, basically, because you need to be very sure about what that vision is, and when you bring that technology, what that technology is going to help you enhance or achieve. And so when you're selling to upper management, say, hey, I need a $30 million to go do an MES in 7 plants. They're like, okay, right. Well, how are we going to justify that, right? And it could be a rate, smaller investment, but to put it way out there, it's, you need to transform the culture first. You need to understand what our processes are today. What are our gaps? What are the things that we need to focus on? Are we focusing on manufacturing? Are we focusing on those first QFLs, quality feedback loops? Like, are we making the operator's life easier? Are we improving our cycle time? Are we making sure our maintenance costs come down? Are we, our quality is going to improve? Like, there's a million use cases that you can say you're going to transform and say, now this is why we need it, and these are the numbers, and this is why this investment makes sense. And so when we grab this big elephant, we say, how do we eat the elephant one bite at a time? And that's where that challenge becomes interesting, because then you start engaging with all the multiple groups and saying, what are the most relevant use cases? What are the ones that are going to hit the 20% use case is going to hit the 80% of our savings, and having that conversation, those workshops, and building from there allows you to put those first requirements together, and then do pilots, do line pilots, and kind of go, one step at a time until you say, oh, we're implementing in the first plant and the second plant. And I think, bringing that big thing into the small bites, starting with a lab pilot, for example, then a small line pilot, like those kinds of things are going to allow you to say, oh, okay, this is not what we thought it was, revise again. And then ensure that you're following up with other things. The system works, that's great, but are you thinking of security? Are you thinking of, IoT technologies to help you handle data? Are you thinking of, who's going to own the data? You don't want to come into a vendor situation and then you don't own your own data. And so all these little things is good to see them in a very small environment as you move forward. And I can say for experience, because that's kind of where we are right now, trying to get those small steps to get to the bigger ones.
Sounds good. And Farid, from your perspective, obviously sitting with the Industrial Internet Consortium, and I guess being exposed to a range of projects, is there sort of best practices that you've seen that could help the audience here?
Sure. This is actually a good question, and looking at it from different aspects. I know you mentioned a number of 40% doesn't get the outcome that they expect to, but if I'm not mistaken, I was looking at several studies, and 60% of the IoT project actually got to stop before it gets end, because a lot of different reasons actually that Marlene also touched point in that. If you don't know your process, if you don't know your pain point, then you're going in the wrong direction. It's not, you're just following the buzzword in the market, and you want to keep up with that, and that's not going to work. That's not the way it is, because it's going to be painful for you and painful transformation. And especially right now when we come to the situation like COVID-19, that your budget will get a stop. So if your project does not have a proper justification or understanding from top to bottom, from the shop floor to top floor. It doesn't have the proper understanding, ROI, and all justification in place, then you're going to the wrong direction.